Welcome to World 9 Gamers. Today I wanted to talk about Amiibo, particularly their functionality in certain games. I'm a big fan of them just for collecting purposes, but they happen to work with games too. Some games use them well, others not so much. So I'm going to count down my personal top 5 in-game uses of Amiibo. Now it's important to note that Amiibo have two uses. Some games simply scan and recognize the figure, others will store data back into the figure. This list will be evaluating both uses and which games utilize it best. Number 5. Mario Kart 8. Now Mario Kart 8 only uses the simpler mechanic of the Amiibo in that it only recognizes the figure you place on the gamepad, then unlocks a racer suit for your Mii based on the character. It's nothing necessary or groundbreaking, which is why it's as low as number 5, but it's a nice bonus to get for if you happen to own an Amiibo for some other reason. There's really no need to go out of your way and buy an Amiibo just to get these racing suits, but if you bought Pac-Man because of Smash Brothers, I just think it's a nice extra touch that he's compatible, even in just a small way, for a game you wouldn't think he would be. Number 4. Mario Party 10. Before I go on to explain why I do like the Amiibo functionality in this game, let me start off by saying that I completely agree that Mario Party 10 was very underwhelming and a missed opportunity. The game as a whole, I was not a fan of. The Amiibo functionality, however, I at least thought was an interesting concept. In Amiibo Party, you're essentially using your Amiibo as your player piece, so it sort of feels like you're playing a real board game. Kind of cool, but that's not the reason why I put it on this list. The reason is here is I'm a sucker for Amiibo functionality that takes advantage of the fact that they can store information into the figure as well. To me, that is the defining feature that sets it apart from other NFC figures like Skylanders. In this mode, you're able to store power-ups and even character boards into your figure, then activate them in-game. So essentially, if you play Mario Party 10 a lot, which if you do, why? You can unlock a really good power-up, store it into your figure, then bring it to your friend's house next time you guys have a game night. Unfortunately, since Mario Party 10 sucks, that probably won't happen, but it's the idea that I like, and that's why it's number 4. Number 3. Splatoon. First off, the Splatoon Amiibo look awesome. At the time of them coming out, they were one of the highest quality Amiibo. Then you add their functionality, which expands the single-player missions with remixed versions, and you've got an Amiibo that literally adds gameplay. The thing I like most about this feature, though, is that you unlock exclusive gear you can only get from Amiibo if you complete these missions. I get an odd sense of satisfaction when I see another player online wearing that crazy robo-armor gear. So this is cool, but there's a reason it's at number 3 and not higher. It's great these Amiibo add missions, but unlike other Amiibo, this really feels like physical DLC, and I don't know how I feel about that. I like when Amiibo are used in really clever ways that just feel like a bonus to the already full game. The idea of unlocking missions by buying these is cool, but not creative, so it falls right in the middle of this list. Number 2. Super Smash Brothers. The first game to use them still has one of the best implementations of them. Like I said, I like when a game takes advantage of the fact that these figures are capable of storing information into them, and Super Smash Bros. Takes full advantage of that. This game by far has the most in-depth and detailed use of Amiibo, and although it may seem pointless at first, it actually is a lot of fun to mess around with. When you bring a Smash Amiibo to life, it controls itself like an AI opponent, but as you fight it, it learns what you do, at least to a degree. If you spam a move over and over again, it will eventually learn that you wanted to use that move a lot. They level up, get stronger, and it's a fun diversion. The really cool part though is adding gear to these fighters. You can increase attack power, defense, speed. Hell, you can even add crazy modifications like attack power increasing when they hit 100%. Have you ever fought a Ganondorf with plus 200 attack? It's a good time. All of this info gets stored back into the figure, and you now have a portable fighter that you've modified to your liking. I've entered dozens of Amiibo tournaments where your trained Amiibo fights on your team. It's by no means competitive since Amiibo stat changes are not balanced, but it's still fun. The fact that this game has such detailed use of Amiibo is the reason it falls at number 2. So, what can surpass this? Number 1. Super Mario Maker. What? I chose a game that only uses the basic feature of recognizing the figure placed on the gamepad and unlocking a Costume? Yes. Yes, I did. And I'll explain why. When you scan Amiibo in Super Mario Maker, you get a costume that lets you run around looking like that character. Nothing groundbreaking, but here's the thing. As of right now, there are a lot of Amiibo out there. When you combine all the Smash Bros. Amiibo, Super Mario Bros. Amiibo, the Splatoon Amiibo, the Woolly World Amiibo, the 8-Bit Mario Amiibo, the upcoming Animal Crossing Amiibo, it's a lot. Yes, it's often difficult to find them, but fact is there are people, whether they're collectors or not, that own quite a decent amount of Amiibo. Super Mario Maker is the first game, arguably Woolly World outside of America, that uses almost every Amiibo that has been made yet. Hell, I was even able to scan the Rossetti Amiibo card I got for Happy Home Designer, and that was compatible. This is something a lot of games should be doing going forward. Even if it's just a small thing, have games be compatible with all types of Amiibo. It helps make their purchase feel justified. Now, Yoshi's Woolly World has a very similar feature and didn't make it onto this list. The reason for that is Super Mario Maker simply does it better. They change sound effects and gold themes, and they just kind of look cooler. In Woolly World, you just become a freakish Yoshi Frankenstein hybrid of another character. Ugh. Well, that's all I got, folks. Since this is the internet, I'm sure tons of you disagree with me. So feel free to yell at me in the comments before, or tell me which games you think has the best Amiibo functionality. Be sure to check back at World 9 for future gaming videos, and until then, keep gaming.